Hello, history enthusiasts. Welcome to another journey through time. Today, we're traveling back to the year 1086, a year that marked a significant turning point in medieval history. Picture the Iberian Peninsula, a melting pot of cultures, religions, and traditions where diverse communities coexisted and sometimes clashed. This is where the epic Battle of Zalaca, also known as the Battle of Sagregas, unfolded in dramatic fashion. This wasn't just a battle, it was a monumental confrontation. It was a clash of kings, a pivotal moment in medieval history that would resonate through the ages. The outcome of this battle would shape the destiny of Spain and Portugal for centuries to come, influencing the course of history in profound ways. The battleground was set near the town of Zalaca, close to Badajoz in present-day Spain, a region steeped in historical significance. On one side, we have the Christian forces of King Alfonso VI of Castile, a formidable and determined leader. He was the dominant ruler in the northern Christian kingdoms of Spain, commanding respect and authority. On the other side stood the Almoravids, a powerful Muslim dynasty from North Africa, known for their military prowess and strategic acumen. Leading them was the charismatic Yusuf ibn Tashfin, a leader whose influence and vision were instrumental in shaping the battle's outcome. This battle was more than just a territorial dispute. It was a significant event with far-reaching consequences. It was a clash of civilizations, a fight for dominance in a land already riven by conflict, where the stakes were incredibly high and the outcome uncertain. To understand the Battle of Zalaca, we need to rewind a bit. Let's go back to the 11th century. The Iberian Peninsula was a patchwork of kingdoms. Muslim kingdoms, known as Taifa kingdoms, controlled much of the south. In the north, Christian kingdoms were expanding their power. These weren't times of peace. The Christian kingdoms were often at odds with each other. They fought as much amongst themselves as against the Muslim kingdoms. This internal strife weakened the Christian side. It allowed the Taifa kingdoms to flourish for a time, but this fragile balance wouldn't last. The stage was set for a new power to emerge. Across the Strait of Gibraltar in North Africa, a new force was gaining strength, the Almoravids. They were a Berber dynasty with a strict interpretation of Islam. The Almoravids were known for their military prowess and religious zeal. They swept across North Africa, uniting tribes and expanding their empire. The Taifa kingdoms in Spain, facing pressure from the expanding Christian kingdoms, called on the Almoravids for help. Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the Almoravid leader, answered the call. He crossed the strait with his army. This marked a turning point in the power dynamics of the Iberian Peninsula. The Almoravids were here to stay, and they were ready to fight. The arrival of the Almoravids sent shockwaves through the Christian kingdoms. King Alfonso VI of Castile, recognizing the gravity of the threat, tried to unite the Christian rulers. He knew a divided house couldn't stand against the Almoravids, but old rivalries were hard to forget. Some Christian rulers were hesitant to join forces with Alfonso. They saw him as too powerful, a threat to their own ambitions. This lack of unity would prove costly. It highlighted a critical weakness in the face of the impending Almoravid threat. Section 5. The Plains of Zalaca, where kingdoms clashed. The two armies finally met on the plains of Zalaca in October 1086. It was a sight to behold. Tens of thousands of soldiers clashed in a battle that would decide the fate of kingdoms. The Christian army, though outnumbering the Almoravids, was plagued by internal divisions. The Almoravids, on the other hand, were united under Yusuf ibn Tashfin's leadership. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through history. The fate of the Iberian Peninsula hung in the balance. Would the Christian forces prevail, or would the Almoravids triumph? Section 6. The Christian forces, a defensive strategy. Alfonso VI, aware of the Almoravids' military strength, opted for a defensive strategy. He arranged his troops in a strong defensive formation. At the center were the most experienced Castilian troops. The flanks were composed of allied forces and less seasoned troops. Alfonso hoped to weather the initial Almoravid assault. His plan was to then counterattack when the enemy was weakened. The fate of his kingdom rested on the strength of his defences and the discipline of his soldiers. Section 7. The Almoravid Assault Waves of Attack. Yusuf ibn Tashfin, a brilliant military strategist, planned to use the Almoravids' cavalry to their advantage. He ordered wave after wave of attacks against the Christian lines. The Almoravid cavalry, swift and deadly, harassed the enemy ranks. They aimed to break the Christian formation. The battle raged for hours. The sound of clashing steel, the cries of wounded soldiers, and the thunder of hooves filled the air. The Christian forces, though battered, held their ground. The outcome of the battle was still uncertain. Section 8. The tide turns, a crushing defeat for the Christians. However, a strategic error would change the course of the battle. The Christian generals, confident in their initial success, made a critical miscalculation. Seeing the Almoravids seemingly in retreat, a section of the Christian army broke ranks. They pursued the enemy, believing victory was within their grasp. This impulsive action would prove to be a fatal mistake. The Christian soldiers, driven by overconfidence, failed to maintain their formation. Yusuf ibn Tashfin, the astute Almoravid commander, saw an opportunity. He unleashed his reserve forces, who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The Almoravid cavalry, known for their ferocity and discipline, smashed into the exposed Christian flank with devastating force. What was left of the pursuing Christian force was cut down mercilessly. The once confident soldiers now faced a brutal onslaught. The Christian army, now disorganized and leaderless, fell into disarray. Panic spread through their ranks, and the rout was on. The Battle of Zalaka ended in a crushing defeat for the Christian forces. Their hopes of victory were shattered. Alfonso VI himself was wounded, but managed to escape. His survival was a small consolation amidst the overwhelming loss. The battlefield was littered with the dead and dying. The cost of the battle was immense, with countless lives lost. The victory belonged to the Almoravids. Their strategic brilliance and disciplined forces had turned the tide of the battle in their favour. Section 9. The Legacy of Zalaka, a turning point in history. The Battle of Zalaka sent shockwaves through the Christian kingdoms, shaking their foundations and altering their strategies. It marked a significant turning point in the Reconquista, the long and arduous Christian reconquest of Iberia, which had been ongoing for centuries. The Almoravids, emboldened by their decisive victory, strengthened their hold on southern Spain, consolidating their power and influence. Their victory had a chilling effect on the Christian kingdoms, causing widespread fear and uncertainty among their ranks. Zalaka was a stark reminder of the dangers of disunity, highlighting the need for a unified front against a formidable enemy. It showed the strength and resilience of the Almoravid forces, who were well organized and highly motivated. The battle's legacy would resonate for decades, influencing future conflicts and shaping the course of history. It would shape the political landscape of the Iberian Peninsula for centuries to come, leaving an indelible mark on the region's history. The Reconquista would continue, but the dream of a united Christian Iberia seemed further away than ever as new challenges and battles lay ahead.